Right, so I'm Richard Raffan. We've just been making the bowl video. Thought you'd like to have a look and see how everything's generally arranged. There've been a few questions about tools and things. So broadly, when I've got the tools I'm using are on the bench in this mess here. When I'm not using the tailstock, that's got its own little stand. That's often over near the window anyway. My dust extraction hood is designed to come apart if a bowl flies off. So it's basically the dust extractor is through this window in here. That was the only place I could put it for this workshop when I downsized. So the pipe comes up here. That's a loose lid. This is hinged so that if I need to cut in from this angle with a tool there, then that's not going to get in the way. This can also slide in and around, so if I've got something long, it'll pick dust up over a wider area. The hose here actually also goes over to my over to my bandsaw, which is just about in shot. So that's just very convenient for me here. Now behind the lathe, I've got my spur drives and tailstocks there. This is where I keep the hex wrenches for the chucks. Really designed so that when I got to reach for them, and that just stretches the muscles a bit. This is one of the projects out of the project books, which is a half bowl, a hanging wall bowl. That's where I keep the wax, and there's also a belt cleaner in there.
Can I ask about the linseed oil rags? There's been a few videos.
The linseed oil, well, this is it's filthy enough now that it needs to go out really, and you shouldn't really. Well, it's not advisable to keep oil-soaked rags anywhere in the workshop near shavings, because they're supposed to spontaneously combust. I've never seen it happen, but there are too many stories, so it probably does happen. So that will go out later today. The other thing we've got here, if it's in focus, I have rare earth magnets on top of the lathe. They're very useful too, just for keeping stuff stuck there. I mean, if I want to, it'll sit there quite nicely. Down below I've got another half bowl with spacers for the screw chuck. Then further around I've got other bits and pieces of junk. I've got the calipers and dividers up above the spur drives. There are more drives and odd bits and pieces in there. There's a spur faceplate, which you'll see in a video on natural edge bowls. And then we drop down, and the tools, I've tried dozens of different ways of storing tools over the years, and this is the most satisfactory. It's a bucket on a turntable, and it's under a shelf, so in theory the long tools are tucked underneath the shelf when I reach to the shelf, so I don't get spiked. That's that. Behind the tools I've got a few, these are chucks basically which go onto a screw, and therefore they're jam chucks, so that a rim of a bowl would have gone into that, and likewise with that one. They're kind of double-sided generally, so that's that. There's another spare screw chuck up at the back, another little baby one here. And then we come round to the more general chucks. Over here. I've got the screw chuck, which is the Vicmarc 300. It does come apart, so that's what I've used most of the time. But having made a screw chuck for this video series, I'm using that one quite a bit, and for the first 15 years of my turning career, or maybe longer, that's what I use. They grip extremely well, and if you break it or stuff it up or anything, you just make another one. It takes about 5 minutes. bigger chuck here for doing platters and things like that, but mostly I've downsized, so I'm now mostly VM100 chucks, the smaller chucks, and I've only got one of the 120s. And then further around again, I've got a whole lot of odd bits, and oh, that's a teeny little bowl ready to go. Forgotten about that. I've got little stubs which are useful when you want small jam chucks and things like that. Never throw those away. And down in the cabinet underneath, this is where I keep the abrasives, and that's means that I can close the drawer up, so if there's any shavings coming this way, then at least they're not going to fill up the shavings drawers. And below that I've got more tools, a few of them, and below that I've got sanding equipment and stuff, and below that I've got handles, and I think that's about it.